I think that the Spark Lab program is really a special thing. It's very unique to Fairport. I have kids who, might struggle in certain areas in the classroom, and then they come in here and they really get a chance to shine because they love working with computers, or they really enjoy our electronics unit, or they're just big builders. And then it gets their foot in the door, and all of a sudden they're learning about structural integrity of bridges or things like that. And I just think that's a really cool chance for kids to come in here and really have a chance to shine.
Forward. How did our code work? Good. Now.
We have kids in kindergarten in here who are learning about giving commands, and they're telling each other, how to follow commands. And then they learn that if you give someone multiple steps, then you're using a script or an algorithm. And then in first grade, they start to do that with robots, and they do that online. All that builds up to our fifth graders who are using websites like Scratch to create video games. We basically give kids a chance to do things that they might otherwise not get the ability to do.
So, press this button. And then when you... So basically it would be like a bigger button, and then they step on it, and then this goes on.
Yeah, so they know to knock next time.
Huge. We give kids the opportunity to fail in a safe place, and we talk about it all the time. We say, this might not work, right? Or what can we do next? Or try and test and keep going. One of our goals for every lesson is persist at a challenging task. There have been some other school districts around here that are starting programs like this, and we've got a really nice head start because we were able to start working on this 3 years ago, and many other districts have had interest in our program, and so we've been sort of leading the way on that and helping other people get started. By the time they're going into middle school, they're very well prepared to continue learning. We're getting their interest peaked by talking about 3D printers and things like that, but by the time they're at high school, maybe they want to be a mechanical engineer or something like that. So it's really neat to see how that, the spark of their interest here could move forward to, I guess more in-depth interest later on. And when you can start having kids coming into middle school with a basic knowledge, they can just do so much more at middle school, which allows the, high school classes and technology teachers to do even more there.
So one of the things that I love about FACS is that from the outside it looks like cooking and sewing, right? That's what people see, and it's great, and those skills themselves are valuable. Everyone should know how to fix a piece of clothing. Everyone should know how to create a healthful meal for their families. But it's the soft skills that they develop whilst doing those subjects that are transferable to the real world. Things like teamwork, problem solving, time management. Like those are all tested pretty well in our subject areas.
So I think the most powerful thing about our curriculum, our students are more prepared for the workforce, they're ready to do interviews, they're going to be fiscally responsible, but we're also preparing them to go into our community and be powerful members and contribute to society in an effective way.
Wash your hands, get your aprons on. You guys can start. You guys are ready before the bell.
FACS, or home and careers at the middle level, is mandated by the state, so 30 weeks of home and careers education between 6th and 9th grade. But then there are other FACS programs that are electives at the high school, so our program also encompasses culinary arts and child development, which are options for students at the high school.
Everything we do, we try to filter through all the other curriculums to make it really connected and make it more powerful.
So we really start to think about, what do I have to offer? How can I show my value on, for example, a resume? And we do create a resume. And one of my favorite things about that is that it's fully usable. Kids can go and take this thing that they've created in a classroom and actually use it in the real world. And they're going to apply for jobs with, and they're using in other classes. And it feels so valuable, because I don't know how many other pieces of work you would create in middle school that you would revisit again and again and actually use in your real life.
There is a rubric, so if you want to double check how you're being graded, you can definitely do that.
Not only are we giving them skills for the rest of their lives, but currently they get to be proud of what they're learning and demonstrate that to the families when they go home. I have had parents and adults in their lives send me pictures of kids that were mending and fixing their loved one, like their little sibling stuffies. So it's when we hear those stories where kids are using what we learned in the classroom outside of the classroom that really shows the power of this curriculum.
Handle and stir it up really well. If it's still too dry, check in with me. We might add just a touch of water to it. Textiles for all.
Sure, so I graduated in 2000 and I took artist in residence. I think it was my senior year, I'm not sure, but it was my favorite class I've ever taken in high school. It really kind of changed my view on art. Most kids have a wonderful experience in art in high school in general, but in artist in residence, they get to work with 7 or 8 different artists a year, and it's really just such a unique experience to not just work with people teaching art, but people who are out there in the community making art and exhibiting works.
I believe this is the 50th year, so I believe it started in 1974. So we're, these kids are working with artists doing their specific art medium, and this is college level type work. I think the kids are excited about art in general regardless, but I mean they're even more excited if they can show or they can work alongside artists or they can get to know an artist on a personal level.
Typically about 26 to 28 days that we come in, and we can kind of break it up however we want. So for ceramics, they spend a few weeks building. They come up with their ideas and we talk about how to push that. A lot of them come in and work a lot outside of class, and we can really, since it's such a small group, we can get really one-on-one and talk about advanced techniques.
It's heavy in decision making, okay? A lot of decision making. And so those skills are actually being fine-tuned without a textbook and without a lecture and how to make a decision. They learn through art, through expression, through rendering.
And these kids really are. I mean, they are applying to all of these like major art schools, and they're going to be the leading artists, people designing their magazines or their furniture or anything. I mean, art is really everywhere, so.